right at the very, very, very beginning, when they have an idea, is not enough people truly undertake proper customer discovery.
Right.
And so therefore they make an assumption that for their idea, there will be demand in the marketplace, whatever that marketplace is. The people might just say, no, you're talking nonsense. There's just no need or no demand or whatever. And then you're back to the drawing board. So that's the first piece.
Be able to serve the market and be able to scale. So scaling was an issue. And then as a result, when it's funded out of your back pocket, you have to be very intelligent of how you scale. Managing cash flow in a startup business is really, really tricky. And we literally had no competition. There was customers knocking down the door, but we were trying to say, how do we scale in an efficient, possible way that doesn't, break our finances? Able to extract money for yourself as a founder is a bit tricky. It was always the next headcount. Yoan's got to find me another person. I've got to keep going. So it took me literally almost 3 years to start paying myself.
A lot of the equipment, a lot of the materials weren't at a level that we needed. So it was like educating the suppliers and sourcing everything we needed to make that clinically suitable. But also there was the experience side, and that was a theme right the way through, is that because the field isn't developed, then the people haven't developed the skills that you need. So it was about educating and training people and trying to source the people that would have the aptitude to learn what we needed to, and also taking the academic scientists that had an aptitude for business and merging the two, really. As well, if you think of a business trying to make money, there wasn't necessarily the outlet for the clinical grade stem cells at that time that there would be now. The business had to survive a lot on grant funding, and that made it a bit challenging.
I think the biggest challenge is getting the right team together, the leadership team particularly. It should always be customer driven, even if you don't have the finished product. You don't have to let your customer know that you don't have the finished product. The finished product is what you're going to deliver for them.
My team is relatively young. We come across situations where I can look at it and go, okay, the first time I experienced something like this was 20 years ago. So I know what not to do. So let's try this and that. And that does smooth things out a little bit, and also reduces some of the panic that can circulate within startup companies occasionally.
I think as the CEO, you live with a plethora of issues at any one time. If I was to single out the thing that kept me awake at night the most, it would be getting money, fundraising.
Yeah.
So, this is, as everyone knows, a very expensive business, and it requires lots of money over many years before you get a sniff back. Even if you can demonstrate that you have a really compelling investment proposition, I don't think that's not a guarantee that you're going to find investors to back the business.
I've never taken the easy route, and I think that's always advice I'd give to people: to be brave, make the brave decisions, because fortune does favour the brave. Carving out a kind of niche for ourselves was challenging, to say the least. And then you've got the growing pains of a business, right? The hand to mouth, oh goodness, are we going to make payroll? And, we're going to need more investment, and all those things as well. So it was I look back fondly on those times. In some ways life was simpler, but in other ways it so wasn't. It really was.